Good morning, everybody. This is Michelle with Creative Operation, and today I'm going to show you how I made this album, and I really actually need to name it. It's based off of my Tall Skinny Mini album that I did a while ago, so I don't know, maybe the Short Fat Mini? I don't know. Well, I have to figure it out, but this album turned out really cool. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I made the base pages for this album and the different techniques that I use to create all the pockets and the fold outs and everything. And then I'm going to show you some examples of how I put them together and was able to kind of stack them together and incorporate them so that you can use several different page styles together to create these really nice interactive signatures. So I will leave links for the video walkthrough on this book, for the Tall Skinny Mini tutorial that I did, and in the comment section. And let me go ahead and get started and show you just really quick. I came up with 20 different page styles to fold to create some base pages. So you can see there's a ton of them there, and they're all 8.5 by 11 papers, and it's all very simple folds and a little bit of cutting, and then you just kind of put them together to make different configurations, which makes a really nice interactive album. But this is kind of my working version that I went off of, so I have a better version that I wanted to show y'all. So we're going to go through the pages, and I'm going to go kind of quickly because I know this video is going to take a while, but really quick. We'll go through, and then the beauty of video is that you can pause it and you can watch it again. But again, all the pages are 8.5 by 11, and it's just a few simple folds. So this one is scored at 1/2 inch and at 5 3/4. It gives you a 5 1/4 inch page size, which is a nice page size. You could put a 4 by 6 picture here real easy. You could put 4 by 3 pictures on here real easy. So it's nice if you're giving it to somebody who isn't a scrapbooker but they want to. It's super easy to put the pictures in and use it. It's not really intimidating, even though it kind of looks like it might be. You can take this page and you could fold it to either side, so however you want to do it. And the one thing I do want to say, this 1/2 inch, that's your binding mechanism. This is what you're going to put your score tape or your glue or whatever you use to bind it to the spine of your book. And then depending on how many of these signatures you make, that's how you'll make the width of the spine. And I'm not going to go over that because I'm sure a lot of people know how to do, make the covers for the books, but that's what this 1/2 inch is. So I probably should have said that first. Okay, so that's your binding. Here's your picture space, and you'll have it on both sides. Okay, so you could fold it this way or you could fold it this way depending on how you wanted it in your book. Okay, so that's kind of page number 1. And then we'll go to page number 2, and I need a place to set these down. Okay, so page number 2 is right here, and I've got to get this in frame better. Sorry, guys. Again, page number 2, what you do is you score it at 1/2, and then you score it at 5 3/4. Then you turn this bad boy, you score it at 1/2 inch just till this 5 3/4 inch score mark. And then you score at the 4 1/2 inch mark to that score mark. Then what you're going to do is you're going to cut down the middle of the page to the 4 1/2 inch square mark. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it does. I made an example so I could show you. All right, so this is the page once it is scored and cut. So you got your 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here. This is the 4 1/2 inch, and then you've got the fold in the middle at the 5 3/4. Okay, so then what you're going to do is this makes a pocket page. So you can do it either way. You can fold it down to the front, and then this makes a place to adhere it to itself. And then you're going to put a little bit of glue here, and then that creates your pocket page. Okay, you can do it to the front. You could fold it to the back of the page. You may need to take a sliver off, and when I was making my models with this paper was actually a hair longer than 11 inches. So when I show you the final model that I made, I did have to trim a little bit off, but you know, double check your paper. That happens sometimes. So that's page number 2. So it makes a nice page that's totally free on 2 sides, and then you have a nice pocket. All right. And I'm sorry I'm going quickly. I've got a lot of these to do. I'm not sure how many I'm going to get in this video. I might have to divide this up into 2 videos. So then page number 3. Again, score it a half, and this is your binding piece. This is what's going to adhere to the spine of your book. Scored at 5 3/4. Okay, and the base pages, almost all of them are like this. Then you're going to score this one at 8 1/8, and then 10 1/2. All right, and then what you're going to end up with when you do all that scoring is you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this, and this is where you get that long tag pocket. So you can roll this up to either side, okay, and then adhere it down with the tab here, and adhere it at the bottom, and then you're going to get a long skinny tag. Tag spot, I should say. And then it'll also flip. So again, you can do it to the front, or you can do it to the back of this page. All right. I cut, in my model that I made, I cut a finger pull here. You don't necessarily have to do that. That's personal preference. All right. So that's page number 3. So then page number 4. Sorry about that. Again, scored at the half and scored at 5 3/4. And then just like that other page, you're going to turn it and you're going to score it at 4 1/4, and you're going to cut it. Okay, so I scored it at 4 1/4 and cut it. You could put it in your paper trimmer and just cut it without doing the score. It's personal preference. If you do a little score line, then it gives you a nice place to start. And then what this page does is this gives you something like this, and I kind of tried to color the edges of this, and you'll get a flap that goes to either both on one side, a half page flap like a Dutch door kind of thing, or you could fold one to the front and one to the back. The other thing that you could do with this, which is kind of cool, is you could put some glue on the 2 sides, and then that could create a pocket. You could have a pocket at the top. You could have a pocket on the bottom of the page. So it gives you some options, which is kind of awesome. And on this side, if you did it on the top, if you created this pocket on the top, then you could cover this whole piece with patterned paper, and then you would end up kind of with a secret pocket spot built into your page. So, excuse me, that's page number 4. Okay, moving on to page number 5. Again, scored at a half, scored at 5 3/4, and then scored at 8 3/8. Okay, so what this page ends up doing is you end up with a page with a flap. So what you could do is like what I did in my book that I showed you, is that when you open it up, you kind of have a full page. So if you had a really cool pattern paper that you had a nice scene that goes across the page, you could use this page to incorporate that pattern paper. You know, some of them have a really nice scene that you just really want to use the whole thing. That's what this is really awesome for. So this flap could again go to either side that you want. But no matter which way you do it, you can get 2 full pages of a really nice scene on this. Okay, so this goes like that. Now, the other thing that you could do with this is that you could take an edge punch and punch the edge of this flap and then glue it down top and bottom, and that could give you a nice little side pocket to tuck a little extra note or some tags for journaling. You could totally do that. You could also take and adhere here and here, which would create a pocket, and then a flap that opens up that way. I hope this all makes sense. It'll make sense when I show you, I think, with my examples. So, there's that. Then page 6. Excuse me, guys. I don't know why I'm coughing all of a sudden. I'm not sick. So, page 6. Again, at 1/2 and 5 3/4. So then that makes the page fold like this. And then what I did was make a diagonal like that. So you have a diagonal style pocket that you could use. Now you could either cut this off or you could just fold it down, use some pattern paper. You could even tuck something under here if you wanted to. You can tuck something under here if you wanted to. And again, this goes to either side. So however you want to configure your page. Okay, that was pretty simple. So some of these pages are very, very simple. And then the cool part is when I show you how I kind of put them all together. It's kind of neat. So again, this one here, 1/2 inch, 5 3/4. Now you can notice this is red. You're going to cut that off. And then what you're going to do with this piece is score it at a 1/2 inch on the top. And then you will have a page that has that flip open. Okay, so here I have the two pieces like that. You can trim this because this is going to be the exact width of the panel. So I trimmed mine a little bit because then that way pattern paper underneath will show through a little bit. And then you just take and adhere that to the top of the page, and then you have a flip up. And again, you can do it on either side of the page. So then page 8. Page 8's a little more complicated. That has a little more stuff to it. So page 8 is slit pockets that I incorporated into this. So again, score it a 1/2, score it 5 3/4, and then you're going to have to do some measurements and some marking, but 5/8 of an inch on either side of this score here, or on this score here, and then on the edge of the page. So 5/8 of an inch. I hope I said that right. 5/8 of an inch. And then go down and measure 2 1/8 of an inch, and then you're going to make a slit. And then measure down 2 1/8, and you make a slit between those 2 points. 2 1/8, make a slit. So 2 1/8 inches in these spaces, and then this green squiggly line represents glue. So what you're going to want to do is, this is going to be a slit, and you're going to be able to stick a tag in here, and you'll glue the upper edge of the slit closed on all 3. You're going to glue here, here, and here, and then it'll create slit pockets, which is kind of cool. Now, the one thing you do have to remember if you're going to do this page is you're going to want to cover it first before you make the slits, so that everything matches up. Okay, so here's my example here. I made the slits. Actually, I didn't. I drew the slits. I didn't cut the slits. I did in my example. Let me show you my example. Hold on. Pardon me. Scratch that. Where did it go? I have to find it. Now I can't find it. Oh, bear with me, guys. I'm so sorry. This is a bad maneuver. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I can't find it. Okay, well, I will get back to you on that. Because the point was I was going to show you about the slits. So they will be glued up and above. Let me show you this one. Glue up above the slit, glue up above the slit, glue up above the slit. And then when you fold it and you glue it down, then this will be glued. There will be a slit here and you can stuff tags in those pockets. This will need to be covered with patterned paper before you do the slit in them, so that it'll be covered, because otherwise it could get a little messy. So anyway, that's that. Sorry about that, guys. I will show you in a little bit. Page 9 is another pocket style page. And again, you're going to want to score at 1/2. You're going to want to score at 5 3/4. Then you're going to turn it. You're going to score at 2 1/4 and 6 1/4. And then you're going to need to do some cutting. Okay, so you're going to want to make a slit from the top down to the first score line, and then a slit from the bottom to the score line, and then take off 3/4 of an inch on the side. Okay, so once you do that, then you end up with this. Okay, so you have a fold there, the 3/4 of an inch piece is off the side, and then you fold these up, and you can either fold it to the front of the piece or the back of the piece. And this can do a couple different things. You can make it a straight pocket that comes out the side. Excuse me. Or you can make this as a flap, glue the sides here, which will create a tuck pocket, and then a flap that will close over it. So that's pretty, and this ends up being right in the middle of the page, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that's page 9. And then I think the last page in this video I'll show you is 10. And then I will show the rest of the pages in the next video, and I will show the slit pocket better for you in the next video as well. So page 10, again, we're going to score at 1/2. But on this one, you're going to cut at 3/4 or 5 3/4, which makes 2 panels. Remember, we did this before. We scored on the top at 1/2 inch. This one, you're going to score at 1/2 inch on the side. And then what that is going to do for you is that is going to give you a side page, okay? So you have your base page here that has the binding piece here. And then you have the piece that you cut off, which has the binding piece on the side. This is pretty neat. You can do it on that side so it opens like this. You could do it on this side so it opens like this. And obviously you can do it on the other side of the page as well, however it works for you. So that's another pretty easy configuration. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop here because I have 10 more pages to go, and I don't know how much more video I can do right now. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to do pages 11 through 20, and I'm going to show you the slit pockets. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.